Hello, and welcome to another episode of Broadcast Gaming Talk. I am back again to talk about another one of my favorite games of the PSP era. This time I'm going to be talking about the sci-fi first-person genre game Coded Arms. This game and its sequel are some of the more interesting FPS games on the PSP. I should say now that I am not going to do a video for Coded Arms Contagion, but I will talk about it a little bit later in this video. Now, given that Coded Arms is a FPS game for the PSP, it means the controls are different. You still move around with the stick, but you have to use the face buttons, the triangle, OX, and square, to aim. There's not really a aim down sights like how it was in Medal of Honor Heroes and most other FPS games, but if you hit the up button on the D-pad, it does like a zoom, and you can do that with any weapon, although of course with the sniper you get more zoom. But yeah, the right shoulder button is jump, and then also on the D-pad has reload and switching between weapons. The thing about this game is the minimal amount of storytelling there is. Like, you get this opening text that's like in the, I think it's the 21st century. We made technology that lets a brain directly interface with computers. And then, apparently your guy goes into some military server where there's hackers and stuff, and that's kind of all the story you get till like the end of the game. They really focus on getting into the game and shooting stuff as soon as possible, and I'm okay with that because that's the best part of the game. Speaking of that, once you get into the game, this is when you start to notice that a lot of things happen entirely randomly. You also notice that a lot of the game is just going into square rooms, eliminating enemies, and then moving on to the next square room. And yeah, most of the levels are randomly generated as you play them. Also, what kind of weapon or armor you pick up will be entirely random as well. This means you may not be totally equipped for some enemies because you may need a better weapon, but you don't have it because you didn't pick that up yet, so this can cause you to die more than you may want to. Also, the way that the level structure is that you have 3 areas. So there's the base, the ruins, and I'm forgetting what the third one is, but when you start the game, and it doesn't tell you this, but you're on the novice combat level, which means each area will only contain 6 levels within it. But then once you beat those, you go to the expert combat level, which is the same 3 areas, but instead of 6 levels per, there's 9 levels per thing. Anyway, there's also upgrades that are dropped by enemies. Usually you have to get 4 before you can upgrade a weapon. But the thing is, when you get the 4th upgrade, it'll upgrade whatever weapon that you are currently holding. That means you have to think before you pick up an upgrade about, okay, am I holding something that's already upgraded? Because if you waste your upgrade, then that's on you. And, I would say, unless you want the game to be more difficult than it needs to be, then think about what weapon you're holding when you find that 4th upgrade. Things dropped by enemies are pretty random as well. Sometimes it'll be a 20 or 50 HP, a virus kill, or ammo, and yes, the ammo you find is entirely random as well, meaning that you may pick up sniper bullets when you want pistol ammo or whatever. You can only carry 4 weapons at a time, meaning that when you find more of them, you have to go to the pause menu, into the plugins menu, swap your weapons around to make sure you have a suitable loadout. But yeah, there's a lot of random stuff with this game, and I don't see it as a bad thing, honestly. The most annoying thing is that there are several enemies that like to get up close and personal, and it really is dumb because the controls don't really allow for looking or moving all that quick, meaning you're going to take more damage from these enemies, and it's really annoying. What I mean is that the game uses an auto aim, and moving around a lot really kills your accuracy. Like, to do most of the damage to an enemy, you basically have to walk near them and stand still and shoot them, which is also a pain in the butt because most enemies like to move side to side and jump up and down to throw your aiming off. So I mean, not only does moving do it, but like if I'm shooting and the guy in front of me is like strafing to the right, if I am shooting and like moving to like looking to the right as I shoot, it also will cause inaccuracy. There are some enemies that like to spit on you, which occasionally can give you a virus that drains your health slowly, but that's what the virus kill, which is a thing that an enemy will drop. That's what that's for. There are some weapons that work better on certain enemies, like the bolt pistol works better on robotic enemies because it shoots an electric shot, for example. Shotguns are close range, and so on. The single player mode is decently long, around 8 hours of play, which is great, but again, it's mostly repetitive. You know, you're gonna play the 3 areas 6 times, and then you're gonna play the 3 areas 9 more. Well, you're going to play the 3 areas with 6 levels each, and then you're going to play them with 9 levels each. The multiplayer is obviously non-existent, so I can't really say if it was any good or not, but aside from those modes, there's not much else to do in the game. Now, a lot of the randomness and lack of story, they really went hard to go away from in the sequel, Coat of Arms Contagion. You would think that this would make the sequel better, but I disagree because it has this really dumb hacking mechanic that's dumb and difficult for no reason, and it happens way too often. It makes me not want to play the sequel. Coat of Arms is a very fun and unique first-person shooter game for the PSP, and something that I wish Konami would have kept going. It would have been cool to see what a Coat of Arms 3 on the PSP, or you know, maybe later when Sony tried the PlayStation Vita, throw that on there. Coat of Arms is a good and enjoyable game. That's all I have to say, so thank you. That's all I have to say, so if you're at a conversation, leave a comment below. If you like what you see in here, feel free to like and subscribe. As always, thanks for listening, and goodbye.